Hi, my name is Brenda, and this is my cut and sew sewing tutorial. It's just some tips on it. I have a lot of the fat quarters that are sewing projects, and my own designs are put on these fat quarters on Spoonflower. That's the only place I sell them. I don't have any stores that I work with or anything. I just want to do it off of Spoonflower. So everything, I think I have over 177 fat quarter sewing projects, and I have one or two that you can buy a yard sewing project. But anyway, a little tip on when I'm doing my sheepy ones now. I've been doing these, and I wanted to tell you where to sew so that you can get the best result. And on each one of these, like this one is the little shepherd girl. There's the front, and here's the back. And you can see this large black line. When you put them right sides together, you can see through the material, so you can kind of see where it's at. And just for me, I mean, you can decide how much you want showing around the edges. So for me, when I cut it out, of course, you cut it out on the outside of the black line. But sew right in here. Or you can even go a little bit closer to the line of the lady or the sheep. And let me show you the difference in that. On here, you can see that I left just a little bit above the nose of that same color as the nose. And I could have went a little closer, but you want to leave enough of a room so that when you're stuffing them, that you can see the outline of the sheep. And here, you don't have to do like on this sheep, you can see where there's definitely go up and down. You don't have to do that. You can just do it straight across if you want, but then your little feet are going to be a little less distinct. You can see the difference there. There's one with, and then there's this one here. So again, it's however close that you want to bring those two lines. On the sheep, they are usually joined at the back right here, and you just fold it and then sew. I don't have that on the little person. And so I'm just going to sew on the inside. Like I said, I'm going to get close to probably 1/8 of an inch away from her, or even further. You can go right up to the line, but you probably don't want that black part showing through. That's how I'm going to sew these. And she comes with two different colored sheep. She comes with the little lavender sheep and a little blue sheep. And that's how you would sew those. And I'll sew up this one and then show you the end result. Okay, so this little girl I have sewn up around the edge, and then I've cut off the excess. I also make little notches wherever there's a corner. I make a little notch so that when you turn it inside out, you have less bulk, and then it'll be more smooth. I've left, I did pin it in two places, just so it's not moving around. And then the next thing you're going to do is just turn this all inside out. And just do it slowly. When you're working with small pieces, you just turn it inside out, and then you can stick your fingers up in there to make sure that all the little corners, like here, I just moving my finger along the seam line so that I'm making sure that all of the details are still getting poofed out, like the little top of her shepherd stick right there. And I sometimes roll my fingers to get that to go nice and smooth. By rolling the fingers, it just seems to get it out a little more. This bottom part has been left open because we want to stuff it. So this is what it looks like so far. There's the little girl. And like I said, I've also sewn the back to look like the actual back of the girl. And then the last thing you're going to do is you're going to gently start packing in the fill material, whatever you want to use. If it's going to be a child's toy or a pet toy, I like to use the organic materials, organic cotton or something to put in there, but you could also use your scraps. You can cut up scraps of that you've been sewing into little strips, and you can use that instead of throwing away as stuffing materials in your stuffed toys. So the last part, then after you're all stuffed, is then you're going to fold these. You're just going to stick a finger in there and fold that in. And then you'll have to spread it out so it's just a little seam, like maybe a 1/4 inch or something. And then you'll put that on your sewing machine and top stitch, or you could hand stitch if you wanted to. And that's after you've got all the stuffing and everything. That's basically how I do all of my little fat quarters. Just make sure you do all of the little things that you would do if you're regularly sewing something, remembering to trim the excess, make notches, contemplate whether you want to put a little hanger in there first, because the hanger then would be on the end, out this would be on top of here with the raw edges out. If you want to have like a little hanger up at the top of her head, if you're going to hang her for decor. The same with the sheepies. You can do their little hanger that way. So just pre-think how you want it to look and what you want to add to it, and they're real fast and easy. There's lots of things on YouTube on how to sew. If you don't know how to sew, it'll give you tons of tips. There's some really great people with all of that kind of information, and for my things I just assume that you already know how to sew basically. And although I don't have much that would be for advanced, most of it, the majority of my pieces are for intermediate, so it's somebody who knows the basics of how to sew. But if you don't know how to sew, go ahead and try them, because some of these are very easy, and it's a good way to try your hand at sewing and making your own toys and gifts. And they're also great to sell. Like if you're done making the items that I sell on there, these would be great at a craft show to sell, because nobody else is making it exactly like me. These are my own designs, and they're not sold in stores right now, so it would be a nice craft show item. You can price it accordingly, and your time and competitively, and just have fun. Thank you for watching, and you have a great day.